Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Gong, the podcast all about sales at startups. And this season, we're taking a deep dive into my own startup, Riveter, which is like HR for the unemployed. One of the cool things about the whole startup thing is that you never know exactly where your first paying customers are going to come from. You might have some hypotheses. You should have some hypotheses, but you don't know exactly who they're going to be, what they're going to want, what they're going to use your service for. And you need to kind of stay within your lanes as much as possible. You can't be all over the place, but you do need to be open to new ideas and new experiences. And that's exactly what happened to us. We thought, hey, great idea. Let's sell to businesses, and businesses will provide Riveter as a severance add-on. That, for a variety of reasons, ended up being pretty hard. But one business that got very excited about what we're offering is a business we never even thought about in the planning phase, and that's why it's important to get started. But it's recruiters and placement agencies. And one agency in particular that I've spoke about previously on the podcast is True Talent Group. And they got very excited when they learned about what we're working on at Riveter. And they very clearly understood what it was, imagined the possibilities of how it helped them, and it very quickly became one of our first paying customers. So for this episode, I want to do something a little special, which is invite Stacey Stratton, who's the founder and CEO of True Talent Group, and one of our first supporters, onto the podcast for a couple reasons. One is I wanted to dive deeper into why she thought Riveter would help so I can better understand my customer. And so you all out there can kind of understand what a typical sales conversation might look like, what a first customer might be like. But also because, when you find a first customer, you got to take very good care of them. Stacy has taken good care of us, and we want to do the same in return. If you are looking for work, check out True Talent Group. And if you are looking for a remarkable placement agency or recruiter to be able to fill your roles, hey, check out True Talent Group. They rock. So without further ado, enjoy my conversation with Stacey Stratton.
Stacey Stratton, welcome to The Gong.
Well, thanks for having me.
I'm so thrilled. This is the first live episode of this caliber in season 2. So thank you very much for joining. I thought first, tell us about True Talent Group, who you are, how you started it, to give a little bit of context to the whole thing.
Yeah, geez. How much time do we have here?
About 30 minutes for the whole thing.
So, hey, everybody. I'm Stacey Stratton. I'm the president and CEO of Minneapolis-based True Talent Group, and we're a specialized recruiting company in the areas of marketing, digital, and creative. I actually started the company 12 years ago in my basement with no sheetrock, no carpet, no anything but a cool IKEA desk and a girl in a dream that just really wanted to change the way that people thought about recruiting and thought I could do it better on my own. So we're still here, and we're super excited to be partnering with you guys.
Yes, starting your company in the basement is the Midwest version of Silicon Valley's garage start. So yeah. It's all a different version of the same thing.
Right. Well, yeah, just taking a chance.
12 years ago, who were your first customers? Where did you land those?
Wow. Well, so I first started, it was 2008, right? So it was not the best time to be starting a recruiting company, but, whatever. Nowhere to go but up, right? So my first customers were actually in the sales side of things. So, it was like 2008, who needs salespeople? Well, printers need salespeople, office supply products need salespeople. So I started out doing that. And then when my non-compete from my previous employer was up in 2009, that I went back to my creative marketing digital folks. And at that point, some of my old clients came back to me, and my first client was Medtronic. So,
nice.
Yeah.
So it was all from the network, sort of reaching out to people.
Absolutely. It's all relationships, right?
So I'm curious. So 2008, you already had that moment of starting a recruiting company in, at the time, the worst recession in 100 years. And then here we are again. You and I got introduced in the context of the next worst recession in 100 years. What's it like being a recruiter right now? What are some of the biggest challenges you have in your industry over the last 4 months and the next who knows how long?
Yeah. Thanks for asking. Well, so I've been doing this for 17 years. So I originally started in 2003, and that wasn't a great time either. And then, launched my company in 2008. And then now here we're in like the craziest year ever. So, a couple months ago, we were at the lowest unemployment ever at 3%. And now, we're at over 10% unemployment. So I think it's just been the craziest curveball that we've seen. And I think the hardest part, I think, is that we just don't know what's coming, right? So we saw, COVID and we thought we'd be post-COVID. And now we're looking at the industry and saying, are we coming back? Are we not coming back? Like, is this going to be a gradual thing? Is it not? There's so much, up in the air. And then we had the George Floyd incident happen. And really here in Minneapolis, things just really were just terrible. So every day, we were just kind of sitting and waiting to see what would happen. But through the company, our thing has been like, this has been so lots of, really sad, unfortunate things going on, right? But in that time is that we were able to take a look of like, okay, what processes do we need to shore up? What do we need to take a look at our business that needs to be done that we wouldn't ever have time to do this? So we were focusing on marketing. We had much more time to talk to our clients. We were focusing on all things businesses, processes, like how can we shore things up so that when we get back to this time where we're going to see a recovery, that we are in a better spot than ever before.
I love that. So you took it as a moment to sort of reset, recalibrate, refocus.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, when else in the time are you going to have that time to really take a look and say, okay, all right, who are we going to be? How are we going to get out of this? And what do we need to do to make sure that, we'll come back stronger than ever? So on that point, it was really great. But yeah, it's definitely been challenging, but I think there's also, with every challenge, there's innovation and a lot of great that comes out of it too.
Yeah. So I want to ask you one last question about your sales and then turn over to the candidates. How are you now at a time when recruiting has been frozen by a lot of companies and maybe in fits and starts is starting to come back? How are you now thinking about sales, outreach to new customers, upselling old customers? What's your goals there? What's your thought process like there? How should other companies, either in your space or otherwise, be thinking about selling? Is it super ambitious and let's get right back to where we were in January or July of last year? Is it, well, just get any win you can for whatever you can? Where are you guys at with that?
Yeah, that's another great question. Well, I think every company operates differently, right? But ours is really to stick back to our core values. And so our company's goals, like many, are just to survive the rest of the year. So it's, I've had a lot of people even, selling to me, and I'm like, guys, it's just not the right time. So I think that we have to remember that everybody is experiencing things that we've not gone through. And so going back to our core values, it's being real, it's being personalized, it's being meaningful. So we're not like sales at all costs at all. It's like, how can we support you in your business? How can we be a resource for you? How can we be ready when you're ready to come back? And so that's the way we're looking at it. We are starting to see opportunities coming back. Our opportunities aren't at the level that they were pre-COVID, of course. But, again, our goal is just to get through to 2020. And then, next year will be a whole new story, but really just to help and support our customers in any way that we can. So we're having a lot more conversations, and we definitely have business, but it's not nearly at the level before. And I certainly don't want somebody, hounding people in the time where they just don't need. Salespeople can sometimes already look at as knowing enough, but, so this time it's just, again, like, to help coach, consult, anything that anybody needs. And we're here for you when you're ready.
Well, you think recruiters are hurt bad. Imagine salespeople who are quota-based and just all of a sudden evaporated, right? When I was right before COVID, we were working at my last company, the self-driving car company. We were working on some huge deals that were in the bag. The contract, literally Monday, I had a call and I was like, yeah, we'll sign the contract tomorrow. And then tomorrow, Tuesday, I had a call and it was over. Absolutely total freeze, gone. So and I probably made the mistake of being a little too pushy then, saying, oh, like, what if we did this? What if we tried this? Because it's scary to lose all that at one moment.
Absolutely. And, that is one of the biggest challenges that our clients are facing when we're talking to them is like, how do I keep salespeople motivated during a time where they're not making all this commission that they used to? right? So how do we keep them on? But knowing that, you know, business is down, things are tough for everybody. We're just trying to survive. So I just had that conversation with a client the other day. I was like, how do I keep my salespeople? But knowing that, you know, they're making half of what they were making. So,
Yeah.
but you really, you know, I'm not and maybe take this out of the recording, but I mean, I'm just not a fan of like the push stuff. It's like, I'm here as a knowledge, just like Riveter, right? Like we're here, you know, to be knowledgeable, to consult and say, here's what I would do. Here's what I wouldn't do. Take this information, do whatever you want. And if you need us, great. We'd love to help. And if not, that's okay too. And that, I don't know, that's really what's worked for us, is really just relationships and helping people and doing the right thing. Because it always will come back to you in business. Always, always.
Yeah. You mentioned a minute ago that a lot of people are coming to sell to you, and you're like, guys, it's not the right time. I will tell them that one company did get through. Riveter did manage to give you something that was valuable enough. Give us a little bit of context about what it's like for a recruiting company right now in a time of peak unemployment, and what the relationship, interaction, communication is like between you and the millions of people in your backyard who lost their jobs. And then that could be a lead into sort of some of the things you were trying to do for them and how Riveter fit in.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking. Well, so this is a really trying time for people, right? Lots of people lost their jobs during COVID. And so it's just heartbreaking, right? So we've gone from not having enough candidates to having more candidates than we know what to do with. So it's just heartbreaking. And looking for a job is I would say it's the hardest thing anyways, right? You know, it's your livelihood. So again, it's just been really tough seeing all the people that were affected by COVID, and just everything that's been going on in 2020. So again, we have more candidates than ever before. And how Riveter kind of got through us is, well, not how you did, is that we're like always like, how can we help these people, right? So we know right now that our clients aren't hiring, and we're interviewing and we're putting them in pockets so that when, you know, our clients are ready, we're ready with the best people. But unfortunately, like if our clients aren't hiring, there's nothing we can do. So, you know, our thing is we never want somebody to leave an experience with us without us helping them in one way, shape, or form. And so when you guys came to us at Riveter, we're like, wow. And not only was it just help, but it was also like all this cohesive help about finance and fitness and therapy and help with in so many different ways. And I think that being unemployed is one of the hardest things that anybody ever has to go through. This was totally unexpected for so many people. And for us, it was just a no-brainer when you came to, because it's like, you're here to help people. You're not really here to sell something. You're here to really just make a difference. So it was a no-brainer for us. So, and with that partnership, we were able to have 61 people sign up, and the emails and everything that people came back, people are like, wow, super grateful. Thank you so much for helping us. And we won't forget this. So it just goes back to doing good. Right. So thank you for starting Riveter. I mean, it's amazing. So thank you so much.
I'm thrilled to do it. I started it to solve my own problem. I was laid off. It really, really sucked, and there was nowhere to go, nothing to do. So there had to be one place, sort of one hub of intelligence, of resources, of support, of positivity, and that's what we're trying to build. There's this great line I really like about startups, which is like the early customers, some of the first customers are those that absolutely get value out of the product as it is today. But they also like want to be on board this pirate ship. They want to be on board this journey. They want to they see something else because you know your problems so much better than we know your problems. We're trying to figure them out, but you've been living them for 17 years. I'd love to better understand when you think, hey, yeah, let's do Riveter because right now it does this, but it can grow into this and I want to be around for that. Was there anything that sort of sparked in our many conversations or everything that you saw about us that's like, you know what, this is where it could go. This is where it should go. This is the progress I want to be around for.
You know, that's really hard, Adriel, because I feel like it was still new. We're still in that in that, new stage with you guys. But I'll tell you, one of the things that just first sparked with me was the fact that it wasn't just about, here, let's help you with your resume. Like, because there's so many things, right? Like there's the people who help with resumes, then there's the people who help with coaching. Rarely does anybody call it therapy, which amen to you. Thank you for doing that, because it's one of the hardest times. And I even remember when I've been unemployed, like, like, how do I get through today? Like, well, I got to get up and go to the gym like any other day. And like, I got to, again, like treat this like a full-time job. And it can be so, just so heartbreaking and just so demoralizing, when you're looking for a job. So I love that you had all of these things in one place, instead of somebody being like, we'll say, well, go call this person, then call that person, then go this person, so it's all in one place. And that was just absolutely amazing with all these specialized partners that you have. So where it goes, not sure at this point, but I'm just really glad that you're here.
We'll find out together then, Stacy. We'll have to figure
It's
it out.
going to be great.
It's going to be great. We'll figure it out day by day.
It's going to be great.
How do you, in tough times or hard, you said you have a lot of people that do sell to you normally, and maybe now not the right time, but a year ago or a year from now, you're always looking at new things. How do you make like buying decisions? Do you have like a list of problems and then you go out and source vendors that are going to solve them? Or do you just read every email that comes in and say, yeah, this one works, this one doesn't work? How do you go about buying new products to serve True Talent Group?
Yeah, great question. So typically, I hate to say it, but I get like 600 emails a day. So I really scan things really quickly, and I know the sales email by now. And sorry, I'm a salesperson, so but I really just kind of delete. The way that I make buying decisions, or that we do as a company at TTG, is really, what are our business goals and what is needed? And when we look at what is needed, it's typically, who do we know within our referral network, or who can recommend us? Just kind of going back to like when you're buying on Amazon, right? Like, you search 5 stars, and like within one day, things like that doesn't work. Then you go, okay, 4 stars, like 2 days, things like that. So it kind of starts for us is like, who do you know? And luckily that's how you were brought to us by Michael, was a referral that you guys had worked together. So I would say, 90% of our buying decisions are made by referral. Like, we need this, who do you know that can provide that? You guys just happened to come at a time where we didn't know that we needed to provide it, but it just made so much business sense to do it, because we actually weren't even aware of the product. But I get a million emails a day about, custom, software and things like that, and resourcing and offshoring and things like that, and office supply products, and, payroll vendors and things like that. And, that stuff, again, too, just, you can just get so overwhelmed with that. But I think how you got through it was a referral. It was a brand new product that also spoke to us, spoke to our core values. It spoke to us as a company. A couple of the emails that we got back said, this is so on brand for you guys. So I think that's really, when you're out selling, is taking a look at, doing the research, like, is it on brand for that company? Does it make sense for them right now? Who do I know who can get me to a contact there? I think, and make it a warm lead, instead of just like blasting out 1,000 emails.
Yeah, you got to do the work. A lot of people just find that you like get somebody in India to find you 1,000 emails, put them all into a CRM, and send out a copy paste email, and that doesn't get. And then they're surprised that
and poof,
like,
magic.
Yeah, $1 billion business right away. Like, you got to do the work. Like, every time I reach out to somebody with a cold message, it's not always possible to get a referral, but every time I looked at the LinkedIn company page, they have their values. I reached out and I said, hey, Johnny, I saw your values are 1, 2, and 3. I think like we really fit value number 2. This is how I saw you've done this before. What do you think? And it takes, 15 minutes per email or per outreach or per LinkedIn message. So it's kind of a long time if you're going to try to do 30 of them in a day, but also your response rate's a lot higher. The genuine nature of the email or the message is a lot higher. It stands out across the crowd.
That's it. That's the biggest thing. I think I know that, a lot of companies operate on these huge quotas of you've got to send like 1,000 emails and make 100 phone calls and things like that. But for our business and a lot of businesses that we do business with, it comes down to relationships and building that. And that takes time. Just like you said, it's like, how do we fit with you? How are we going to make you a better company? How are we going to help and support you and do the right thing by you? Not just because it does well by us, but I think taking that time to research. And one of the things that for us as a company is doing business with is, would we want to, take that person out for a coffee or a cocktail? Would we want to actually get to know that person more? And you kind of just know, like, these are my people, but it takes a while to get there. And I think that's well invested time instead of just the blast of, you know, say a wish and a prayer and hope somebody picks up the phone, because at the end of the day, that person who probably picks up the phone isn't the right client. So doing all the right things. I'll just tell you, even somebody like yesterday too that I interviewed, and this happens a lot. I was like, how did you get referred to TTG or whatever? And it's by another business owner. And, it was just kind of like, because of that business owner that I respected, I spent time with this person, just said, how can I help you? But I think that's really going back to, like, LinkedIn makes it possible, right? Did you go to school together? So sometimes on that, I'll be like, hey, fellow blue gold, did you work at the same company? Do you know 55 of the same connections? You can tell by their writing, like, oh, we speak this same language, or just like we have so many people in common.
Yeah,
like,
I've tried that one. We both speak English. Buy my product. It's I won't say I've had great results, but it works sometimes.
Check.
Yeah, find common ground, right? That's sales 101.
That's absolutely, I think the thing that, going back to, like, people hang around with people that are like them, right? And that they feel, and there's groups of people who, like, have commonalities, right? Just like, in all the different areas of your life. So how can you find commonality with that person? And by the way, do they need your product? Like, we needed it. Like, it was something that, we're just like, how do we help all of these people in this time where we can't help them, so yeah.
Stacy, one final question for you today, but COVID, it's COVID related, sort of. It's been quite a change agent, maybe an accelerant for a lot of different things, right? Things that nobody thought would be possible in January, all of a sudden in July, are things that are impossible to be without. For you and True Talent Group and the business you've spent almost 2 decades building, what do you hope becomes true? What do you hope changes about your business or your industry? What do you hope evolves after we come out of this COVID haze?
Oh man, yeah. Can we be done with this?
Working on it.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's just new information every day. I think what I've seen on the company side, and just even for our own business, is, we started out as a virtual company, and I never wanted to get bricks and mortar. But then we kind of did and grew and whatever, and then it made a lot more sense for us. But what I have known through this now is that we can definitely be a lot more efficient. We also used to interview every single person in person, and now, Zoom meetups, you name it, has made our work a lot more efficient. So we can reach a lot more people than we ever could before, and we're doing in business in a lot more markets than we ever did. So that actually has brought some great opportunity. I'm also seeing a lot of our clients who used to be butt in the seat, if you will, those CEOs now saying, wow, it is possible, where they would never have done that. And that was a barrier for work, because flexibility is a huge thing for people these days. And it's going to continue to be a huge thing, as now we don't know what's going to happen with the schools, and if there's going to be a pushback, pullback, what's going to happen next. So flexibility has always been huge, but it's more important than ever before. So I think companies are figuring out that we can have a remote workforce. We can hire people from different states, which I have clients doing that have never done before. And so I think that there's a whole lot of good on that. Personally, post COVID or whatever this, all of this has been, post 2020, I'm looking forward to smiles. I'm just looking forward to people smiling again. There's just been so much heartbreak and ruthless and injustice, and everybody's scared, right? And just a lot of tough things happening. So I'm just personally looking forward to, like, I'm just a very much like, let's make the most of today. All we have is today, one foot in front of each other. And I'm looking forward to smiles. I'm looking forward to people being happy again.
Awesome. Well, I'll take that and I'll double it. Stacy, this made me very happy, if that helps at all. So thank you so much. Thank you very much for joining. And where can people find you and True Talent Group if they want to learn more or use your resources? A lot of unemployed folks listening to this. Where should they go?
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for doing what you're doing, Adriel. You really are making a difference. It's really amazing. Keep up the great work. If you're interested in True Talent Group or getting a hold of me, our website is True, just like it sounds, TRUE, talentgroup.com. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me, or you can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, all the usual socials. So thanks so much.
All the places. We'll link to it all. And Stacy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thank you for listening. Again, my name is Adriel. I'm the CEO and founder of Riveter. You can find me at alubarski2 all over the internet. You can find Riveter at Riveter Works all over the internet, LinkedIn, Twitter, our website, riveterworks.com. And if you got any ideas, advice, thoughts, if you just want to reach out and say hello, you can find me, Adriel, at riveterworks.com. Good luck and happy selling.